Good morning, clients, wherever you may be. Let me welcome you to the inaugural launch of the DBSKN um, customer support portal. This is one of many steps that will be taken in the near future to try to reach out to our clients and to treat whatever issues they may have and get feedback from them. That in turn will help us to better service your needs. This um this day really has been prompted by a number of persons, internal and external. And those students, clients of us who are residing overseas, I want to commend them for their proactivity in causing us to move even more rapidly, more speedily in putting this instrument of communication together. I want to thank the technicians who have worked tirelessly over the last couple of weeks to ensure that we are able on this day to launch this so essential means of reaching out to our clients. It has indeed been a long journey for the development bank. This week marks the middle of the celebration of our 35th anniversary. And over the years, we have had good support from all our clients. And for that, I want to say thank you. We would want to hear from you um, today, tomorrow, and the days to come, as to indicate to us ways in which you believe we can improve our service. Suggest new ideas for us to do things, and I can guarantee you that whatever suggestion that come forward is always taken in full good faith, because without your feedback, and all feedback is positive as far as I'm concerned. And without that feedback, we will not be able to serve you in the manner that you deserve. So I want to welcome you to this launch and to invite you to join us, send in your comments, your issues, your concern, and we'll endeavor to address them either now at the sitting or within 24 hours of the sitting. I also want to say that it's our intention to have regular forums such as this one, to reach out and to hear from you and for you to advise us as to the way forward. These forums, you shall be given at least 2 weeks notice prior to any further events. All our forums that are coming up. That way you should be able to prepare to be part of these essential outreach on our behalf. So I would again welcome you and to say to you we are available at this moment to hear from you and to try to address your needs. Thank you. We are open to take any questions that you may have or comments. You may type into our chat.
Good Morning to our clients and prospective clients. My name is Jasmine Irish, and I am here to assist you with any questions, comments, or comments that you may have. Okay, we have a question from 8603 on what is the policy regarding deferment after one has entered the repayment period and have experienced jobless or have not gotten employment 6 months after graduation. Well, normally we inform the students or we request them to send in a letter indicating their situation, and that letter, once it is for deferment, the guarantor's signature must be on it, and that signature, well, all signatures must be notarized. Once that is presented, then the bank would give consideration to what the student indicated, and we will get back to the individual. Okay, we have another question. Why is there a fee for payment made with a debit or credit card? Now, the fee payment is there because it offsets the process cost charged by the clearing institution.
Thanks for your patience. Just joined the chat. Len Harris, for those who are not aware, I'm the general manager. I want to thank Mrs. Irish for sitting in during the time that I had to step out. And again, to welcome all persons who have engaged. This is very refreshing. The question that I'm looking at regarding the fees, I think we are very clear that any transaction processed by debit cards carry with them some fees, right? And most likely a part of these fees would be user fee, which are indicated in the brochure that we would have distributed. I will just go through the various fees for the cards that we issue so everybody could be aware of. There is an activation fee of 12 US, a load fee, an ATM fee, and in the event that the account is dormant for a 6-month period to be refreshed, there is a fee of $250. I want to say though that these fees really are savings in terms of how students would have normally used the card and pay for their disbursements. What these do, they would eliminate our wire transfer fees that would have been charged in the past. And I believe the wire transfer fees are about, how much is that now, Mrs. Irish? That's probably $90 something plus that. The hassles, quite frankly, you could stay where you are, you get your card uploaded. And that removes the hassle that has been traditionally associated with the disbursement process. It also provides you with an ease of making payments on your loans. And that we will appreciate very much. If you can really utilize your card, that's something you can utilize it for. Rather than having to go to the bank, buy bank jobs, do wire transfers, you can save on the cost of those transactions by using those said cards, right? So the other thing in terms of the fee that you should be aware of, sometimes because we have a rate, the rate, I think I'll get and publish the exact rate that we use when we are cheating with debit cards. The rate for cash, we know is 2.67. Right. For checks is 2.6882. And for the debit card, I think that's what, 2.71, something like that, but we'll get it the precise thing. So if you are using your debit card to make a payment, that is the rate that will be applied, right? We will have these rates published on our website for your full information, and also via Facebook. right? I hope that that has gone somewhere to provide you some information and at the same time answering your question. I am looking at a post here, which is nice to see. Yes, indeed, it is a wonderful venture. Just responding to that. It's always good to get a compliment here and there. You know, it makes our day a little bit better. But again, I want to give full credit to our students who are overseas. And part of this is really came out of their desire for information and our genuine interest in making sure that they are provided with full information and they have we do things in a most transparent manner, right? So again, let your question roll. We'll try our best to answer them in part as comprehensively as possible. And where our answers do not suffice at this sitting, this live sitting, provide us with your contact information, and we will ensure that within 24 hours, you get a more full response to your queries and whatever concerns. We also want to invite you to provide us with suggestions as how we may further improve our service to you. Yes, you could ask for anyone, even for yourself. We'll be happy to entertain. Thank you, Antoinette, for this question. This is a frequent um, refrain or commentary that we hear from clients of all loans, whether mortgages, students, or even vehicles. It tends to be associated with loans of medium to long-term duration. What happened once you pay your loans in accordance with the schedule, you do not make late payments, so you pay on time. You will find that your loan will indeed finish as outlined in the agreement. Initially, at the beginning of every loan, based on the reducing balance method, you will find that most of the payment from your installment goes towards interest, and the smaller portion would reduce your principal balance. But every subsequent payment, if paid on time, there will begin to be a shift where more and more of the payments made would go against the outstanding principal balance. And you'll find at the end of the scheduled repayment date, you would be able to clear your loan. So the interest collection portion is front loaded. And at the back end, by the time you get towards the last 60, 70, 70th, in terms of time, let's say 70 year, where you're at now, you should really begin to see quite a bit of your payments going towards your principal. But it should, and it will, once it's a development bank loan, finish as per schedule. The reducing balance method is that method of repayment whereby every time you make a payment, a portion is removed for the interest that would have accumulated at the point of payment. The difference is then subtracted from your principal. This reduces your principal balance. And instead of the interest being calculated and the amount that you actually borrow, let us say about 100,000, you made a payment and that principal portion is reduced to 99,000. The next interest payment would then be calculated on that 99,000. You make another payment, reduce the principal to 98,000. Your interest payment will be on that 98,000, and so on and so forth. So that is why it is referred to as the reducing balance method. As you reduce the balance, whatever your balance is, that is what your interest is calculated on, rather than the total amount that you borrow. The front loaded, just an expression that I use really, but it's simply to say that in the repayment of a loan, at the beginning, most of the monies that you pay are applied to interest, simply because your balance will be at its highest. Interest calculated then will naturally be at its highest. As you progress, it becomes inverted, where the larger portion of your payment goes towards your principal until it's concluded. In terms of capitalized loans, any loans may be capitalized, but in this instance, I believe this predominantly refers to the student loans. Our policy has been over the years is to try and facilitate as many persons as possible to attain higher education. And so we have had a very relaxed policy in terms of repayment, whereby we had allowed deferment of interest during the course of studies. At the conclusion of your studies, there are two options in terms of the accumulated interest during your course of study. One, it may be capitalized. That is, the interest may be added to your loan. Sometimes the agreement, the document that you signed initially, your bond agreement and other documents, would make explicit reference to this. In such instance, there is a responsibility on the part of the bank to do that, to facilitate you. On other occasions, it could be based on the request of the borrower and their guarantors that the outstanding interest be capitalized. Um, to the extent that the interest was not capitalized, then the payments that you would have made to your loan would have been consumed in trying to erase that interest that had built up during the period while you were studying. So I am suggesting to persons out there who are not sure what the status is, whether or not their loan calls for automatic capitalization. You should make a direct inquiry. You could contact Miss Maynard, or you may contact Miss Percival or Mrs. Irish, right? To clarify what your situation is. It's a fairly long one. I have a fiance. Let me translate this. I hear if a person similar conflicts. Great. By this person that they are saying essentially they have heard similar complaints, but they went ahead and, if I'm reading right, did their own checks, did some checks, despite the different term given by the bank. I can now say that the exact month I will finish paying my loan, this person can actually calculate their next principal payment depending on which day, and that is important because the interest is calculated on a daily basis. So if you pay within a 28-day period and then a 30-day, it would vary the amount of interest that would come from, that would be deducted from your payment. So I'm very glad at least we have someone here who I believe can attest to what was said earlier, though. We from the bank end would indeed need to do a better job at the beginning. And I believe at the start of the repayment period, where persons begin to repay this loan, to explain to them these details. Because sometimes a person may just rely on making a payment, but you may let days pass beyond the scheduled 28 day, and that cause to incur additional interest. So I'm grateful for this contribution. Um, this is a good question. It is something that we are getting better at. And this forum, this opportunity is one such tool that we are now employing. And we have recognized that it doesn't really matter sometimes whether a person may have a degree or not. You're quite correct. Everyone is not um, versed in the workings of the financial transaction of a loan. And so we'll make it our business to explain to persons at the beginning of their studies. And as I said earlier, we now would begin to reach out to our clients, especially students and any other but students, because of the gestation period before they actually start full repayment, to explain to them the issues that you've raised, how the loan works, what is the implication, for instance, of capitalizing the interest. Is it in their interest to capitalize it or not to capitalize, and so on. So these are things that we have to work on just to make sure that people have a full understanding and a full appreciation of how their monies is being spent. So I want to thank you for that question. Just to add that it's really in our interest as a development bank to hear from you, um, for you to really give us feedback on anything that we do here, anything. And we have a responsibility to accept and respond to your concerns, your queries. Thank you. We will begin an education process. Well, it starts now, as you're witnessing. Our website would be more active in providing information. All the tools of social media would be engaged in this. We intend it just, I think it's tomorrow. Tomorrow, for instance, we will be having a business fair. That business fair is designed to educate the general public, educate our clients, especially those in business and those intend to get into business, as to the issues revolving around businesses. We'll be educating persons, hopefully about the loan, the processes, and not only that, we'll be having auxiliary services there to explain to them some of the intricacies and some of the things that they need to know. But we will be having regular intervention. If it's not already in operation, the Magic Jacks will be having those lines be made available so people can call in anytime. This portal would be always available for persons to express concerns, and not just concerns that we wish to deal with, but we really hope to that you can provide us with some ideas so that we can further improve our service delivery. But we'll be doing everything within our capacity to solve it better. we also seek your assistance here for future intervention like this, that you tell your neighbor, tell your friend, tell those persons who you know may have some dealing or some interest in dealing with the development bank, that they have this open forum where they would interact with someone from the staff. This, our launch and the importance with which we place on this thing. I am here myself as the general manager to try and convey that to you, the sincerity with which we want to take on the delivery of our services to you. Thanks for this follow-up question. This is something we have been discussing with MIS about creating the capacity for us to do this. As we speak, we should be upgrading the infrastructure of our MIS system to facilitate a lot of the service delivery. To assist though, indeed, we want our clients, wherever they are, on island or off island, to provide us with email addresses, because without those, we do not make this outreach, this outreach will not be as effective as it can be. So we'll encourage our clients to provide us with their emails, such that when we have information updates and in time, hopefully in the not too distant future, their statements, these things we should be able to provide them via email and other electronic media. You may submit that information to the student monitoring officer, or you may submit that information to Ms. Bonita Maynard Evelyn. Salam name, eh? At their emails. Miss Percival would be, I think it's L Percival at skndb.com. And Miss Maynard would be vmaynard at skndb.com. We'll be most grateful for this information. Um, I will look into this to make sure the manager at the Nevis branch though is Miss Hyacinth Pemberton. So one Pemberton may have left and another took her place. So I'll look at it. The manager indeed is a Pemberton. We have to make sure it's the right Pemberton that we have listed. But it should be Miss Hyacinth Pemberton. That's the manager of the Nevis branch. Once information is provided and it's verified, you would be contacted. And I believe an excellent way to do that should be via return email. So then we know from both ends that that email is working and we are in communication. It is expected that you should be contacted once you've submitted your updated information within 24 to 48 hours. Anything beyond that, you're urged to lodge a complaint for non-responsiveness so that we can make sure that the system works and works well. Thank you. Antoinette, your suggestion is noted. I think it's a good idea, and it's something we will look to implement. Thank you. The only fee that you should have seen applied to your account during this period would be a deferment fee. It's what, $75? Yes, it would be $75 plus VAT, 87.50, I think, in total. That should be the only fee applied to your account. So to the extent there were other fees, I would, if you provide full information, I'll have someone look into it. And once you allow us to contact you, they would respond to you within 24 to 48 hours. I would ask Mrs. Irish, very knowledgeable, to sit in for the remainder. I want to thank all persons who have contributed. This would be an ongoing endeavor, an ongoing partnership to make our service to you better. So I want to thank you. Unfortunately, I would have to leave for the time being. Well, guest is 8603. I will need to know if you could provide us with your details so I can have it investigated and get back to you, please. Thank you very much. I'm delighted and actually excited to be here because the best way to deal with issues is in an open way and face to face, no intermediary sometimes. And that is where hopefully we are able to understand each other and deal with matters that are sometimes easy to deal with that otherwise can escalate. So I want to thank you for your commendation. I'll now give way to Mrs. Irish, and this program we would close at 12. However, you can continue making comments and so on. The appropriate portion, I mean, the technical people tell me what the term is, would provide you to the area you can go and continue making your suggestions. Zarish?
For those of you who did not hear, my name is Jasmine Irish, and you can continue with your questions as we try to respond to them. Okay, to get 8603, yes, the recording would be available on the video forum and also on the YouTube channel. Okay, we apologize for the brief silence, but in reference to guest 184, 184, you can log on to www.skndb.com and then you will go to the portal. You will submit a ticket and then you will fill in the information and follow the instructions that are there. There's also a check ticket status in there that you would be able to, where you will be able to view all your requests that you submitted, and you would also see the responses that were made. Also, in relation to guest 184 question, yes, a confirmation email will be sent to you, and with that ticket, you will see a reference number. Now, with that reference number, you can always log back into the same site and track the progress of your complaint. We will be wrapping up in the next 3 to 5 minutes, so we'll take the last question. But as Mr. Harris indicated, please do continue to send in your any comments, questions, concern, and we will try to respond to them, or will respond to them rather, in the next 24 to 48 hours. To all our clients, prospective clients, we thank you for joining us this morning. And again, we do encourage you to send in any comments, question or if you have a complaint, and we will endeavor to respond to them as we strive to better serve our customers. Again, thank you.